Hey, listing agents, you're super excited. You get your new listing on the market. It looks spectacular, fantastic. And then 5-6 days later, no offers. What do you do? I'm Matt Witte. This is the Realtors Playbook. And we're going to go over some strategies today, how to handle situations that we haven't seen in a while, which is mainly multiple offers are not a guarantee as they seem to be the last few years. Are they out there? Yeah, we're still seeing them. There's no question they're there. And they probably will be if it's priced well and it's in a competitive area. But we are seeing properties that are lapsing the quote-unquote offer deadline, and they have not moved. So I'll give you an example. I had one recently in Methuen, for those that know. Methuen, Massachusetts, pretty local. And we put the property on for $550,000. We got some people through first weekend, open houses, but we got no offers. And that can be a pretty demoralizing thing for a seller. So I think the most important thing is before you sign the listing agreement, you're at the appointment with the seller. I think it's important to set the expectations. Tell the seller, we could get multiple offers, we could get no offers, we could get one offer. The market is going to dictate how this goes. And I always tell sellers, ideally, if we can price at or under market value, it's a little bit safer than overpricing and chasing the market down. So you have to be upfront with them. If you promise them multiple offers and things like that, they will turn on you so quickly and say, Matt, you told me I was going to get multiple offers and I didn't, so on and so forth. So I think you lay the groundwork, and that will help, in the event that you don't get offers the first week. So setting expectations is huge, even if it's a hard conversation up front. So communication, make sure that you're communicating with the seller as frequently as possible. So especially if you get past the offer deadline, they want to know what the plan is. Are there more open houses? Has anybody called? Is anyone setting up showings? And you can tell them, no, nobody has set up any showings. We're working on this. We're revamping our marketing, social media. You have to make concessions so that the seller feels as though you are trying to sell the home and it's not just sitting on the MLS. So I think that is super important. So some strategies to try to induce an offer. So what we did in this particular case, it was $550, and I met with the seller. I took him out to dinner at the Chateau, for those people that know where that is. And I'm sure you're wondering what I had to eat, so I'll tell you. I had salmon because I was on a health kick that week. If I was going tonight, I'd probably eat chicken parm. So I met my client there. We had a great conversation, and he said, what's the plan moving forward? And I said, I highly recommend that you have a massive price reduction. So he said, well, what's massive? And I said, I think we're talking around 10%. And of course, he was, not happy with that number. But I explained to him, if we drop from $550,000 to $540, it's virtually going to do nothing. Okay, that's almost like dropping at $0 in the mindset of the buyer. Buyers don't care that you dropped it $10,000. Now, the seller does, because that's a lot of money, and we get that. So at this point, we're not getting any offers. And so we kind of met in the middle, and we ended up dropping to $525. We ended up getting an offer under contract, I think it's somewhere around $515. And that deal fell apart because of financing. Okay. So again, in between all these, annoying events, a lot of communication with the seller, calls, texts, emails, keeping them up to date, things that are going on in the Methuen market. And then we ended up putting it back on the market, for $525. And then we started to get some really low offers, $470, $465, things like that, and that's what buyers do. They see things, see a house sitting on the market for over 30 days. That's what they're going to do. And so we had one offer, and we were kind of going back and forth, getting them a little bit closer to 500, but we couldn't quite get them there. And so that's when I had talked to the seller. I said, why don't we drop it to $499? And I think everybody's going to come at that price. Okay, we already got one person that's starting to creep up a little bit. So the seller was good with that. Didn't want to take $499, but the idea again is to create a multiple offer situation. So I went into the listing, scrambled the pictures a little bit, reordered it, worked on the listing description just to freshen up just a bit, and we ended up dropping the property to $499. So like a Disney movie, everybody came out at that point. We ended up with 6 really good offers, and we were able to drive the price back up to $525, so $525,000. So for agents that maybe just got into the business 3 years ago, this is something that you may not have dealt with. You may have put listings on and you're getting offers of $100,000 over asking, everything's waived. Now it is, I wouldn't say the market's shifting, but if you're not careful with the pricing and or your seller instructs you to price it too high, you have to have some backup plans. And this was a backup plan that actually worked very well for us. And we did this years ago for a condo we had listed in North Andover when the market wasn't as good. And you have to make those kind of adjustments. Otherwise, you're under contract 5-6 months and then you're fired. And that's it. It's over for you. You can never get that time back. You can never get that money back. And you lost that seller, So last I read, the average person that buys properties transacts 7 times in their lifetime. So you lost the seller that could have potentially transacted 7 times. And that has nothing to do with any potential referrals that person would give you. So that's the only way that I would look at it. And so definitely be ready for this situation to occur. Have some strategy of what you want to do. Set those expectations for the seller so that they are well aware, and that is what you need to do. I'm Matt Witte, William Ravis Real Estate. This was the Realtors Playbook. Thanks for joining us, and we will see. I shouldn't say us. Thank you for joining me. And when Debbie's back from vacation, we will. Her and I will be back on the podcast with the latest real estate trends. Have a great day.